Well, here it is, and welcome to another episode of Fishing with the Captain. Here it is, the project boat. She's about 95% done. There's always something to be doing on it, but no, nonetheless, here it is. Gonna get out in the water, get it for a spin, get used to come out, run you through the whole floor, the layout, why I have things in certain spots. But just before I put it in the water, I want to show you guys out of the water the trailer, and that's pretty much the start of the project. Before I decided on the boat was an upgrade on the trailer, so I'll run through it. Alright, just first of all, starting from the ground up, we'll go with the trailer. This isn't a standard trailer that comes on your basic Explorer series hulls. I requested this upgraded trailer. You can see this big H-frame alloy trailer because I know I'll be doing a lot of travelling and putting all the weight on top of it, and doing all those kilometres. I wanted something that's going to be a bit more sturdier and stronger behind the car, less to worry about. And yeah, so it's a H-frame alloy trailer all the way through. You've got the skids and the rollers for easy drive-on access. Also the lighting on the side of the guards just helps me see left and right side of my mirrors. Going down the hallway, I can see where my boat trailer is running on the lane or on the road at all times. So it's definitely worth looking at if you get a chance to do a project boat. Is something to consider is dual trailer, because that's what gets you to the water. It is a Quintrex 420 Fighter Series hull Explorer. It's not off the shelf. There's a few custom things that I asked for before it left the Quintrex factory, such as you may see the gunnels that I have on the side. That's something I asked for just in regards to strengthening up the hull, and also being able to weld to it, and even having like these flush mounted cup holders, and it just overall looks really nice. Gives it a nice strong steady look as well. So yeah, I'll just start at the front and work my way back, and then we'll take it from there. Just going off some of the questions that I got on social media, I'll run those through, and yeah, if you guys have any other comments or anything else you want to see up in detail a bit more, yeah, just drop me a message, or yeah, drop one down in the comments below. So let's get to it. Alright, so starting off on the bow of the boat, I have a MotorGuide XI5 saltwater 55 pound thrust electric motor. Just here sitting here talking, I've actually just hit spot lock. It's pretty breezy coming through this gully, and yeah, we're not moving one bit. You can see that I've actually got it fitted off to an Anderson plug, a waterproof Anderson plug, which then runs in through the floor. And I have in here, I then have a 120 amp hour battery. This is also one of the items I requested, was a battery box for here up the front. And I've just got done that to a wiring loom, and now that runs up inside here, pops up here, you can see it, then there, and then I can just disconnect that, and then so yeah, that's the electric motor. I have that with a wireless foot pedal, because I really don't like the idea of having a remote in my hands if I have to then fight a fish or fight current and a fish, and I'm constantly taking my hands off the rod to do or dick around with other crap, when really I need to focus on what I'm doing, which is casting or winding a fish, fighting a fish, or even get myself out of trouble in some sticky situations. A lot of structure, and I need to weave my boat in and around. This way I can stand and literally just look down into the water and can see, like I can see that lay down there if I needed to avoid it. So yeah, and then as you can see, there's a big debate whether people want to go like a V-nose punt or a square nose punt like this. So you can see the big square section, whereas a normal V would actually come from this point here and make its way through here. But if you look, all this space here and here where my rods and reels are sitting would actually be not on this boat. Like, it wouldn't be available the way it is. So if I start moving back, just yeah, the front hatch I've already sort of shown you. Got these marine grade 316 stainless latches, and I've also fitted that with 150 Newton power gas strut. Those I actually just picked up from Bunnings. I was actually going to order some from online from a marine dealer, and yeah, I just found these at Bunnings. They're pretty good. I haven't had a problem with them. They're originally made for toolboxes. Yeah, pretty easy. Holds it open. I don't need a holder opener or anything. And I've just got that to a big stainless steel again, 316 marine grade piano hinge. So the weight is evenly distributed and it just looks real neat and tidy. I can stand on it, and it's not a worry at all. Instead of having little hinges there and then having another one here, and on my other boat which I did have, I used to kick under my foot, or if I'm not wearing shoes, on the ball of my foot. Even worse, it got really hot. Yeah, you'd burn your feet, and I've actually broken a toenail off from kicking it. So yeah, and just moving back, just quickly, you may have noticed all these lids are aluminium, and got this support through here, this square section, if you can see it. And then I've just gone and given it a primer paint, and then gone and sprayed it a matte black, just to give it a nice tidy sort of clean look. Now just moving back, this floor here is actually aluminium flooring as well. So really, that's all aluminium, apart from obviously, this section here, which you see here, the join, that's timber, purely for the fact that's marine ply, purely for the fact is if I needed to get up in there to do some work, run some wiring, I want to be able to take that out, and then I can easily work in there and have plenty of access. Moving back, this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting. Now, this is my first main compartment of the boat. So you can see the front deck. You can easily cast 2 people at the front, no worries. Open this up. Now I've got a gas strut on that as well. As you can see, it's big enough that I can even, I've got I think it's 25 litre esky in there. I've even got some camera gear in there. I've got my drone back there. I've got some life jackets back up in there. There's plenty of storage. That's the old glove compartment. And if you can see, this is the stock box seat that comes in the boat when you buy it. But I've actually utilised it to support the frames. A bit of square section tubing there. And I've even got the pedestal seat mount base, which is actually, I haven't cut that out yet, but that's right here. I don't know if you can see the bit of a dent in the carpet, that right there. And then this is where these are all lockable. These have got the keys. I've got a key on all my tackle storage and rod locker, but I'll just get to that in a second. I've got this is one of my tackle storage. Now, yeah, it actually fits a fair bit. I've got everything just to touch on quickly. I use these big Plano boxes. This isn't all my tackle. This is just tackle that I'll use on maybe a certain lake or river. I try and cut down what I'm not going to use. And then I like to, and if you can see, that's my esky back in there, which I can't even reach. That's how far back it is. And then I've just got my life jackets accessible, a handheld torch if I need be, just a quick grab. I've got my brag mat, I've got gloves, I've got a little container, my sunscreen, pliers, cutters, split ring pliers, and then yeah, I've just got all my tackle boxes, all the gear that I'm using, just labelled, and then again on the face, just so I know what I'm getting into. So like, we've got my stinger hooks, dies, even a Stanley knife, real oil, a bit of a diamond file to sharpen some hooks, spare spinnerbait blades, bit of all that. I just like to keep everything organised as easy as I can. So while I'm fishing, I can just if I'm picturing a lure, or I'm fishing, for instance, this bank right here, and it's not what I thought it was coming into the session, and then for instance I'm throwing a spinnerbait and I go, right, I want this purple hard body that I know will dive perfectly to the gradient of this bank. I can picture where it is, I like bang, grab it. I can be within 10 seconds easily. I can just have that lure on my rod, on the end of my rod, and I'm casting and going again, not rummaging through a mess and going, oh crap, I'll put it in a box that I fished 3-4 sessions ago that I can't find again. Or even worse, you pack for your next trip and you can't find it. I like to keep everything labelled, everything organised, so I know even if I have a mate with me and he wants to find something like my cutters and everything, it's there, it's easy. I can just, while I'm fishing, I can describe where it is, bang, it's right there. There's no dicking around, saying, oh, where'd you put it? I don't know where it is, I can't find it. Well, it's right there. Alright, just moving on. Sorry, just to jump back up to the front again. One of the cheapest, I mean dirt cheap, modifications I've done to this boat, and probably the most used day in day out every time this boat goes in the water to go fishing, is seriously it's these rod straps. You come off a boat wake, or you misinterpret a chop, wind chop, or whatever it is shooting across the lake, you're not going to have your rods, or I know some people are paying upwards of thousands of dollars for a certain one outfit. You can imagine that was to bounce over the side. Now if you have a look, I'll show you quickly. That's all it is. It's pretty simple. You can spend a couple $100 on ones from the States, but I literally just got these on eBay. This is, grab that, chuck it over here, bang. That's not coming off. I just tuck it over the front of the reel so it can't slide back. And yeah, like, and also just for reference, you can fit probably 3 rods on each side, easy. And just for reference, just so I can show you the size of this deck, that's a 7'10", I believe, rod, nearly 8 foot. So you can imagine the deck space or fishing area you have. So now I'm going to move over to the rod locker. Now, this is something I thought was a necessity, especially that traveling, they're locked away, they're secure. They're not going to get caught anything in your car, sitting in your front seat, and the tips in the back seat, especially if you have a passenger. Because I know my fiance Rebecca, she sitting in the front seat of my car with some lures, and she's actually had a hook go on her leg, and ever since then she's been all for a rod locker, which it also makes it easier on yourself too. Like, you don't have hooks or anything in the car, especially if you've got kids jumping in the front seat all excited to go fishing and you didn't take your hooks off. Well, that can end the day right there. So what we're going to do, just give you a quick look. Give you a quick look. Again, this is lockable, 316 stainless. Now I've got a gas strut on there, and I'll just give you a quick look. The rods feed up inside there, feed in there, butt sections, and then the tip just feeds up inside there. And then what I do is, because this is pretty much your wall mount rod storage, this is what I do is just pop it out. I can then grab the rod out if I want to, put it back in there, and then if I want to put it back, I just chuck it in there, push it in the groove. Now that also acts as a tensioner. This acts as a tensioner, so it's not going to slide out. They are as is since I left home, and I fished all day, gone through some chop, haven't even bounced at all or moved. So there's no rod chafing on other rods, or there's no reels getting scratched. Although I do like to make them wear these neoprene covers just to keep them nice and new as possible. And also you may see here, this is a channel. There's a lip. Now what that does, all the lockers, all the hatches have them. That channel there, that lid sits nicely inside that groove, nice and flush, just so for rain. Pretty much if you have a big downpour of rain, it's not going to run and make all your gear wet. Like I've had clothes in here, and it just stayed all dry. All my tackle stays dry. It's got a lip as well. It runs and then it just runs and then dumps out the back. So in here too, it just runs down the channel. All the water would gather on the deck, running down the channel, pour down into this back area, which will pretty much go into the bilge anyway if it is a heavy enough downpour. But that's pretty much, that's the rod locker. Now with that rod locker, I've got my biggest rod's probably 8 foot, my big swim bait rod, and that fits in there, no worries at all. I'd imagine, I think you could probably fit a 9 foot rod if you really wanted to. I haven't touched the ends when feeding that 8 foot rod in there, which is that one there. So moving on. Now, moving along, there's a floor space. You can easily fit your swag, big esky. You can even literally, if you had to, you could take a nap in there if you wanted to. Also this back side here, you can see, it's actually a little bit lower than the front half. I haven't finished this part of the boat yet. It's actually supposed to have one of those same latches, but I was just short when I made the order, so I've got another one on its way. But I'll just show you. This is a live well. I've got a little bit of emergency fuel from the big trip. Bit of emergency fuel is never bad to have, but you know, that's a big live well. Like you could easily fit a half decent sized cod in there, or even a school of yellows if you were fishing. Like you see, it's pretty deep, and Kyle's gonna hang me for this. I don't know the measurement of it, probably 700 wide. And then yeah, it's probably about just under 400 deep. So yeah, it's pretty sizable live well. Again, all reinforced aluminium folded lid. Now, batteries. I'm choosing with this part of the boat here. With this part of the boat here at the back, I'm not going to fix them off, all these panels here, because I like to have the access. Sometimes I have to get back multiple times, or even like just fuel and everything. I don't like to be restricted in space. So what I've done here, I've just run the crank, power, everything through that hole there. I've got a aluminium flange there from work. It's actually for a fire sprinkler. I've sprayed it black to keep it nice and tidy. I'll just lift that out because I took the screws and everything out of it. It's a real snug fit. That runs in back there. take that out as well. Now what I've got back here, I've got my crank battery, and I'll just lift that out as well, just to give you a look. Here we go. Now, that's sitting on in a battery tray. So that battery tray also has a welded section in it. This is also bracing. This is aftermarket bracing. I believe that's 6 mil by probably 80 mil. I'm guessing it's just welded to the transom, and also here and here, and then also down to the keel. So the power is actually coming through the keel, through the whole boat. And it's also another reason for the gunnels. So also another reason for those gunnels, as I explained earlier, it distributes the force, not just all on one center point. It kind of distributes it through the whole boat, as why the welded floor, it pretty much pushes the whole boat together. It's not the transom getting copped by the torque and force of the motor. So going off that, sorry, I want to pull the boat apart. Just go in here, this last compartment, or one of the last compartments. Just lift that compartment out, set that aside. Now what you can see, I've got my fuel tank there, which is nothing too special, just a 22 litre. I don't have too much need for a bigger fuel tank. I've got another one in there, but I only go through a small tank anyway as it is. But I always like to keep a bit of a backup just in case, because you never really know, because your trip might go a bit longer than expected. Rather be safe than sorry. But yeah, as you can see here, also this was welded in aftermarket. As you can see, the quality of the welding is like spotless. Spotless welding. So I'm just trying to focus in on that. Like, all the joins are just seamless. So now coming back here, I've got a switch panel, 12 volt socket. I am looking to upgrade that. I want a really nice big panel there. I want to be able to have everything on it, like from my nav lights and everything. Front deck sounder, I've got that on a big ram mount. That's a 12-inch HDS Live. I find it to be an awesome unit. And on top of that, there's a little flat patch just here, and I've actually used that to stick on a GoPro mount, which also sits on top. And then I've got a GoPro cable running out. And what these HDS Lives have is a USB input and output. So what that does, just plug that back in there. What that does is I can be fishing, having a GoPro running off that, hit play, and it's constantly charging. It will literally never run out unless my boat battery does. And that draws bugger all power, so I can have it recording all day instead of having to change batteries and constantly changing. So that's awesome to have. So the last thing, but not the least, and probably one of the most important things of the build, was the motor. Now, I did have 100 horsepower on the back of this boat. It went awesome. Like, it is real badass, like just in a straight line. It was tearing up water, pushing 80-90 clicks, but and a rooster tail at the back. But it seriously felt like, I don't know, it felt like something could happen too easy. Like, something bad could happen. Like, even if it was on your behalf of driving the motor, you would be steering along and say your mate dropped his phone, or you tipped your coffee over in your lap and burned yourself or something, just to get you to jump or to lose concentration just for one split second at that speed. Could have, I'm pretty sure it would just jackknife and have you going overboard at that such a speed is just, yeah, it just spelt trouble. There is a way around it if you've got a tiller assist, which is basically a hydraulic arm. It sits on it and firms up the steering, but yet still easy enough to steer. And also comes with a feature to have a foot pedal that can lock the steering in a direction. So if you did hit a wake, it can lock the steering, so you couldn't steer or lose control. But saying that, you take your foot off that and you hit a wave just because you lost your balance, something can happen there too. So again, just something to be mindful of. It is a small boat. Yes, I put 100 on it because I thought if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So listen, I've done it, and look, if you're happy with doing it and you think you know better, all the best to you. Hope you have a safe boating experience. But no, nonetheless, I've got a 60 Honda with a stainless propeller. It's positioned and worked onto just right. Like, it hums along. It's got so much low end torque, power, and top end. Loaded up with 3 blokes. I'm still doing 60 odd Ks by myself. I'm still punching high 60s. Could be touching 70, give or take, depends how much stuff I have on the boat. But yeah, it hooks along just nicely, just the way I love it. I've had some choppy times running across the lake. I haven't had a drum, I didn't get wet or anything like that. Going across boat wakes, I've had the weight of the front deck actually benefits the boat as it's evenly spread throughout the whole boat and creates it's a very good balances the boat going over some waves. So it's actually a massive positive for the whole balance of the boat as well. So what I'm going to do is give you a look at this outboard up close. Well, this motor has, as you can hear, it's got actually electric trim and tilt down, up. So when I'm punching along the lake, yeah, I can get a bit more top end out of it. But nonetheless, she's a great motor. It's, in a bit. Great motor, plenty of grunt behind it. It's got plenty of balls behind it. I've got that sitting with a Solus propeller, 3-blade propeller. Yeah, it runs real good. Chop, whole shots, awesome. Yeah, like I said, top end speed, loaded up with guys. It's still hooks along very nicely. It's got minimal weight in the hull to deal with, but yeah, no, overall I'm very happy with it. Not just the motor, but the whole boat build itself. I love this boat. This is a boat I can see myself holding on to for a very long time. Still do my tournament fishing out of it, and it still take, you know, through maybe even 4 of my mates just cruising, flicking around surface lures an afternoon. You can still take out the missus and have a good time, and still feel safe, you know, and get me around point A to point B, and yeah, chase fish in some very quiet areas that some other boats with a windscreen or with a console can't get into. So saying that, I want to say a massive thank you to Kyle Dalrymple. Guys, if you're looking at doing some of this weld work, I got this fork done through Kyle. Kyle really cares about the work he does. Like, his workmanship is very great, like awesome. His workmanship's awesome. There's 2 things that a lot of people say when they come on this boat is how they're amazed on the layout of it, and second question is who welded it up. And first thing I throw is Kyle's name, because it's something to admire. He's not only his work, but he cares. Like, he's finishing on even such small things on welds and ideas. He also contributed a lot to this boat, because I had some ideas that I thought would work, and Kyle's counteracted with some other ideas that he's seen or done or knows would work better. And mate, I'll tell you what, take your hat off to you. You've done a great job, and I don't have any regrets on this boat at all. You've done very well.
So if anyone's looking to get a boat done, project boat done, Kyle, I'll leave his details, or just PM me and I'll forward you some details to get a hold of Kyle. And last but not least, the boys from Davey Marine in Pakenham, they've done a really great job with even with the 100 and the 60, just getting it fit up for me and helping me out propeller selection and getting that running right. So come water time, she's all about playtime. Like, she's pretty much keen and go. So on that note, I want to wrap it up here. Thanks to you guys, the viewers. Yeah, keeping this channel alive. It's awesome. It's very humbling to see people in public, even on the water, and come out and say g'day. And yeah, it's great to meet you guys. It's actually a bit of a laugh sometimes to catch up with some faces that I see on social media. So yeah, thanks to you guys. So this will be the new battleship for the captain. So stay tuned, and hopefully we can create some wicked memories. So be sure to keep you up to date on all up and coming modifications. There will be a fair bit of LED lighting and a few little sneaky things that I've seen that I really like, that I really want to get fitted. So on that note, catch you later guys, till next time.